Guys, we will wait for 2-3 minutes for others. We will start the lecture. Count is very less. Shall we start? I don't think the more than this number will join. We'll start. Okay. I will start the presentation first. So I apologize first to you all that for changing your timetable for today. Actually, I have taken vaccination today, and I was delayed from to reach home after vaccination, so that's why I have changed some timetable. So, and after all, in the last week also we have not conducted lectures because of NAC work, administration work, but this time properly. So today also I may be able to conduct 2 hours or 1 hour. I don't know how my health is supporting. Accordingly, we will go for, because due to vaccination, I'm not feeling well. So shall we start lecture? Guys, you can keep on talking. Will be interactive session. Then I will start the new part of the syllabus. Which part we have covered? We have started the first chapter, and the chapter name is the quality and quantity of water. Okay. Then this is the syllabus: sources of water, quality, quantity, demand, then population forecasting, calculation of fire demand, water quality parameters, characteristics and their significance, drinking water quality standards. So this part is in part we are going to study. So first of all, we have discussed about the sources of water. There are two main sources of water. One is the surface source and another is the subsurface. So what is the fundamental difference between these two? I told you that day. Surface source is having the different properties and subsurface are having the different properties. The major difference between these two sources is the appearance, physical appearance, you can say. So when you are seeing the water in a stream or in a river, at that time you may observe that water is a muddy water, is it? Gadu pani. But whereas when you are collecting the subsurface water, at that time you can observe that water is having a crystal clear appearance. Okay. So likewise, there are much more difference between the surface water source and subsurface water source. That part in detail we are going to study about in the unit number 2. Okay. So then after we have studied about the intake structures. Whenever, remember guys, intake structures is a structure which can be constructed to collect the water when you are selecting source of water is a surface water source, like the river, lake, reservoir. And as per the source, you need to change the design of intake structure. So accordingly, we have studied the different types of intake structures. Okay. And the function of intake structure is to help in safely withdrawing water from the source over predetermined pool levels, and then to discharge water into the withdrawal conduit. or at the treatment plant, water treatment plant. So this is about the intake structure. This part also we have covered in the till the last lecture. Then the next part, site selection or the criterias. What is the criteria to be applied while selecting the site for the construction of intake structure? That we have discussed. In that, it should be constructed in upstream side of the city. Why should select the upstream side? That we have discussed in detail. Then it should not be located in the curved river to avoid the flooding of that particular structure. Then intakes should never be constructed near the navigation channel. Then constructed such it is accessible during the flood. It must be accessible during the flood also. Otherwise, you have constructed and a very small flood had come and you are not able to reach to the intake structure. Then during that period, how you are going to provide the water to the society? That will be quite difficult. Okay. Then site must be well connected by good approach of roads. Regarding the source of pollution needs to be considered. Okay. So these likewise various factors, various criteria, what we have to apply while selecting the source, we have discussed over here. Okay. Then the next point we have discussed about the classification of intake structure. These are classified into 4 types. First one is the wet intake, exposed intake, submerged intake, and dry intake. Okay, so these are the fundamental 4 types of intake structures. So basically, as per the source, when you are constructing the structure, accordingly, there are 4 again types. River intake, when constructed for the collection of water from river, canal intake, reservoir intake, and lake intake. As per the structure of source, you need to change the structure of intake structure. Is it? So this part we have finished. Then after we have discussed each and every intake structure in detail. So this is the river intake. Then next one is the canal intake. Okay. Then this one is the reservoir intake. Okay. So how the arrangements for the collection of water from the source into intake structure in detail we have discussed, and then it will be transported towards the transportation station. Okay. Then the lake intake structure. This part we have covered till the last lecture. I remember. If I'm wrong, let me know, please. If I'm not wrong, I will continue from this point. Okay. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Then now the demand of water. Okay. So in the demand of water, how to find out the demand of water? Until and unless you are not knowing how much quantity required, we plan it at home also while preparation of food. We count the people and then how much will require for the entire family. We used to calculate. Same here. We need to calculate. We need to know how much is the population of particular city where you are going to construct the water supply system. Water supply system in the sense what is including in that? In that there will be a first will be the intake structure, then source from source to treatment plant, then treatment plant will be the third point, then GSR, then ESR. Okay. And then distribution system. So these are the different components are included in a water supply system. So you need to define the capacity of each and every unit, and that capacity you will relate with the demand of water. How much water is required for that particular city? Okay. Then according to demand, you can decide the capacities of each and every unit. Now, how to find out the demand? Okay, so according as per the demand, you will go to construct the particular water supply system. But now it's a question to find out the demand of water. In the water quality estimation, the quantity of water required for municipal uses for which the water supply scheme has to be designed requires the following data. What data is required? Water consumption rate, that is also known as per capita demand in liters per head. एका माणसाला एका दिवसासाठी किती पाणी लागतं डोमेस्टिक पर्पज साठी, नॉट ओनली फॉर ड्रिंकिंग पर्पज. Domestic in the sense all other activities will included. Likewise, the drinking, cleaning, washing clothes, washing floors, washing car, then gardening, then uh, washing pots, everything purpose. Is it? Then LPCD, what is mean by LPCD? It is the liter per capita per day. Per capita in the sense ek manus, per head. Okay, so population to be served can be calculated by using this formula, that is quantity is equal to per capita demand into population. Okay, एका माणसाला किती पाणी लागतं, समजा 150 लिटर पाणी एका माणसाला वेगवेगळ्या ऍक्टिव्हिटी साठी डोमेस्टिक पर्पज साठी लागतं, multiplied by the population of that particular city. It may be a 10 lakh population. Okay, 10 lakh multiplied by 150, that will be the quantity required for the required for that particular city. Now the question is, this quantity is required at the current stage, because here you have considered the population as a current population. Now I told you in the design period, further part may be there, that I will discuss later. I told you earlier also, whenever you are constructing the water supply system, the design period of that particular system is usually 3 to 4 decades. In the sense 30 to 40 years. Means suppose in a 2021 you have started construction of your plant, then you may have given the time period for the construction up to the 2023. From 2023 to 2053, for that much period, what amount of population may increase for this particular city, that you need to find out, and that is possible by using the population forecasting. So while explanation population forecasting, I will explain that term in detail. Okay, so simply here you remember that demand of water can be calculated by using this formula, that is per capita demand into population. Okay, then the water consumption rate. It is very difficult to precisely assess the quantity of water demanded by the public, since there are many variable factors affecting water consumption. The various types of water demands which a city may have may be broken into following classes. So this is the water consumption chart. So if you have noted down the demand of water formula here, then I request you to note down the water consumption of various purposes: domestic purpose, industrial and commercial demand, public use or the fire demand, and the losses and waste. So after that chart, we will go for the next point. Please copy. Once you're done, guys, let me know, please. Done?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Okay, we'll proceed now. Okay, so here in the demand of water, we have you might have seen the domestic consumption, industrial and commercial demand, then public uses including fire demand. Okay, so domestic consumption in the sense whatever the water required in a home for various activities as we have discussed. Under industrial and commercial demand in the sense maybe industry is established in that particular city, or maybe a separate zone is there in industry. If separate zone is there, that is not going to be considered in the public water supply scheme. But any small industry is established in the city, at that time that the industry also we need to take into consideration. Then commercial demand in the sense there are the various commercial activities like the schools, colleges, offices, etc. are available. Okay, so that commercial activity also we have to take into consideration while designing, while determining the demand of water. Okay, then public use including fire demand. Public uses, what are the public uses? Parks are there, sometimes road cleaning is there. Okay, so statues are there, there may be gardening around this statue, so that will be considered as a public uses. And then fire demand, so whenever you are constructing the water supply system, you must keep a separate quota for the fire demand. Okay, so why should keep the fire demand as a separate quota? Because it is required for control of fire outbreaking. So you may be thinking that it is not the regular activity. Though it is not regular activity, you cannot assume that there will no fire today. You cannot assume that. If required, suddenly at that time, it must be available with you. So that in additional quantity, we should keep ready at the treatment plant, okay, while constructing the water supply system. Then losses and waste, a huge amount of losses are also there due to the leakage of pipes, is it at the joints or the cracks of pipes during the road construction or all other activities by the human being. So that losses also we need to consider, because you may be finding the demand by considering the population and the losses are 25%. Then will you, whether your society will be happy with your supply rate? No, they will not be happy with your supply rate. So that demand also we have to consider, and accordingly we can supply the quantity. Okay, so these are the various consumptions of for the water. Then how to find out the fire demand? It is quite difficult to find out the fire demand. आता तुम्ही म्हणताल की किती एक टाकी, दोन टाकी, 1 लिटर, 50 लिटर, 500 लिटर किती प्रिझर्व करून ठेवलं पाहिजे अगेन्स्ट द फायर डिमांड? So there are some thumb rules, because it is quite difficult to find out. There are some thumb rules. According to this thumb rule, we can go to find out the firefighting demand. So the per capita demand is very less on an average basis, but the rate at which the fire is required is very large. The rate of fire demand is sometimes treated as a function of population and is worked out from the following empirical formulas. So I am going to show you some empirical formulas available over here for in respect of fire demand. Okay, so there are multiple formulas are there, but which are the commonly used that I have displayed in this slide. Okay, you can see and you can copy this in your notebook. So the first one is the American Insurance Association. Their formula. What is that formula? Quantity Q in liter per minute is equal to 4637 into root P into bracket 1 minus 0.01 root P. What is this P? P is the population. Okay, for 1 lakh population, approximately 41,760 lakh can be considered. Okay, So likewise, Kuchling's formula, and that Kuchling's formula Q is equal to 3182 under root P. Then Freeman's formula Q is equal to 1136.5 into bracket P upon 5 plus 10. Then Ministry of Urban Development manual formula, that is Q is equal to, here Q is taken into kiloliters per day. Is it is equal to 100 under root P for P is equal to, P is greater than 50,000. P is population and that is greater than 50,000. Whenever there are the huge population is there, in that case it can be used. Basically, first three formulas are very commonly used to find out the demand of fire while constructing the water supply system. Okay, so please copy all these formulas in your book. Please, fire demand. Okay, I have received a message from Srikant that is done. Okay, we'll wait one more minute or otherwise we'll start for the next point, because I don't think I will be able to continue for longer period. today. Yeah, Nikita Bhagwat. Okay, thank you, Nikita Shrikant. We'll proceed now. Factors affecting per capita demand. Okay, what are the factors affecting? Actually, while discussing the demand, I told you, but now we will go by slide and I will explain if required. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I have to charge my laptop. Yeah. Okay, guys. Huh. This part I have explained already, but still we will go by slide now. Factors affecting per capita demand. Size of the city, first, very important. How come per capita demand for big cities is generally large as compared to the smaller towns, as big cities have skewed houses? Means as per the living standard of the people, the requirement of water will also increases, because living standard is greater, in the sense there are the more number of uh, amenities are there, like the AC, cooling in devices, then car and all those things. So requirement of water increases. The presence of industries are there, multiple small industries are more. In that case, there will be a demand increasing. So you should remember, if there is an industrial belt, it will not be considered for the public water supply scheme. But if it is, there is no industrial belt, but small industries are there, then it will be considered as a public water supply demand. Then the climatic conditions, as per climatic conditions also, demand will change. Then habits of people and their economic status. Okay. Then quality of water. If the quality of water is good, aesthetically looking good, then medically safe, then the consumption will increase, as people will not resort to private wells. Is it? If the quality of water, whatever getting supplied by the municipality is good, aesthetically good, physical, qualitatively good, then it will, people will prefer to get water from that place itself. Then pressure in distribution system. Pressure in distribution system. So if the pressure is very high, pressure in distribution system, remember this is very important point. Pressure in the distribution system is very high. In that case, there are the maximum chances of having the high loss of water through leakages as well as at the consumer end. Is it? If there is the low pressure, in that case, there are low chances in respect of losses at both places, due to leakage as well as due to at the consumer end. But in that case, the public will not satisfy with the facilities provided by the municipality. So you should find out the optimum pressure. You should provide the water to the society with the optimum pressure. Then public will be happy, as well as it will save the losses. We'll continue the same one. Efficiency of water works administration. How the administration is working. Leaks in water mains and services and unauthorized use of water can be kept to a minimum by services. Is it? How this point is important, so that administration should be capable to find out the leakages on regular basis, and not only finding out, the repair and maintenance must be done. At the same time, if any public is using the water unauthorized, by using the unauthorized way, in that case, it should be banned, is it? So then it will save the water, loss of water. Then the cost of water. If it is the costlier, means example I will give you here. The Pandharpur city we are getting water maximum 4,000 to 5,000 पाणीपट्टी येते एका वर्षाची. And that's why we became habitual to get the water more than 270 liter per capita per day. This is the habit you may be knowing or may not be knowing. पंढरपूर सिटी मध्ये जे पाणी सप्लाय केलं जातं ते 270 लिटर पर कॅपिटा पर डे या रेटनं सप्लाय केलं जातं. Whereas the standard demand is 135 liter per capita per day. Is it? Why we people are habitual? We are getting water. First thing, huge amount of water is available. And second thing, water which we are getting is free of cost. Like free of cost, we can say. Because maximum water demand, water payment for each year is 4,000 or maximum maybe 5,000. Is it? So it's a very low cost. But whereas in a multiple cities, there are the water metering systems are there. तुम्ही किती दिवसात किती वापरले पाणी, according to bill, like the electricity bill, there will be the water bill. And in that case, the consumption will be very carefully. आपण या रूम मधनं त्या रूम मध्ये जाताना लाईटचं बटन ऑफ केल्याशिवाय पुढे जात नाही. Is it? Because we have to pay electricity bill on monthly basis. Likewise, for the water supply, when you start paying, then you will use, you will control your use, or otherwise you are using like randomly at a 270,000 liter per capita per day, like the Pandharpur citizens. Then policy of metering and changing charging method. Water tax is charged in two different ways, on the basis of meter reading and on the basis of certain fixed monthly rates, as we have discussed this point. So these are the factors affecting on the per capita demand of water. Are you getting? Now, how to find out the fluctuation in a rate of